Good morning, everyone.
We ready?
Live from the TFC Energy Studio.
The Roula and Ryan Show with producer Eric, Special K, and Sam.
Happy Friday the 13th, my friends. Welcome to your Friday here on the Roula and Ryan Show. If you have ever called our listener line at 713-278-VENT, that's 8368 on your phone. You could be the star of this segment. And a lot of people do chime in after they listen to the segment live as it happens, or maybe they go back later and they hear the podcast. Mm-hmm. They call with their comments on the listener line, and every now and again, a listener really strikes something within them, like an emotion, like they feel sorry or they feel sad or they want to reach out. They want to give somebody a hug, going through a hard time.
This girl needs a hug through the radio. Now, the initial call was really, really long. I cut it down to really what the core essence of it is.
So it was about Jane yesterday, right? So Jane called her.
No,
it's not Jane?
No.
There's a couple calls. This one is about, we were talking about like True Crime Tuesday, how we do that.
Okay.
And that's when Sam told us what the serial killer, or not serial killer, but
well, for those that missed it, Sam said she was dating a boy in high school whose brother killed his girlfriend. And before the murder happened, she was in the car with her then boyfriend, and he asked her to get something out of the glove box, and she saw a gun in there.
And she touched
that gun was the gun used to murder the girlfriend like a week later.
How did I miss this? I must have been answering the phone.
It was right at 6 o'clock in the morning. She just drops that on us. We're like, what? We did True Crime Tuesday. You never shared that story. You were 1 degree away from a murder.
And we do that True Crime Tuesday where we ask you to call in if you've been, part
a victim
or maybe
family member.
Or you were the person that did the crime, but you did your time.
Yeah, reform.
So this girl, she had a tremendous loss, and because of the loss, she discovered something that was even more earth-shattering.
Hi, my name is Kate. About a year ago, I lost my dad. He was murdered by my adopted brother. And then a year goes by. I ended up getting a call from my mother saying that my dad is not my biological dad. My dad raised me, and it doesn't change anything, Everything that I ever thought I knew growing up was just a lie. And so at this point, I call the biological dad, and he was very clear, like, I don't want anything to do with you now, and I didn't before. So I'm like, wow, thanks. I dodged a bullet. And then he told me, stay away from my kids. And I'm like, whoa, do you have other kids? And then I found out that I have other sisters. It's really hard, and my life has been turned upside down, and I would never wish this on my enemy, but it's been very painful for the last year without my dad, because he was my best friend. He was my everything, and I lost him. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss. And remember, DNA does not make a parent.
Yeah, but it
does
hurts
not make
when
a
you find
family
that out.
member.
Why even tell her? And then this guy, what a scumbag.
I didn't want you then. I don't want you now.
Yeah.
Stay away from my other kids.
Which are their siblings? Their siblings.
Horrible. I mean, I feel the first part was hard enough. Her brother murdered her dad.
Adopted brother.
So she's going through that. And then she finds out the dad's not even hers.
And I want to know more. She did at the end leave a number.
She did.
Maybe we'll talk to her on Tuesday. Maybe we can.
Yeah, let's call her and find out.
Yeah,
usually we do True Crime Tuesday around like 8:20.
And because she doesn't say anything about her mom. So did she not have a mom in the picture? Or how did the
Who'd
dad...
she say told her?
Yeah, who told her that...
Or was it
because
the
you said the
mom?
call was long, but you cut it down. Did she say who told her?
She
her
didn't, no,
dad's
no,
not
she didn't say anything
her
about
dad?
that. I just cut out pauses,
Somebody
basically.
told her.
Somebody tell her dad's not her dad after he died?
Yeah, that wasn't in there. That wasn't in the call.
So she needs to call us.
Oh.
You have her number, right? It traces back to her.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
I've got her number. Yeah.
Because there's a person. Did you have any of the Jane calls or no? Because I know there's a bunch of them. Basically, a lot of people wanted to help Jane out because her daughter. The sad part was Jane, her husband passed away of cancer a year ago, and the daughter is 9 years old, and she's a gymnast. And the saddest part, she says, is like she's got no cheering section. So a lot of listeners did call in, and they're like, "I'll go. Tell us where the events are. We'll go and we'll go cheer for her." They wanted to support her.
Because Jane said it was like a family thing they used to do.
Houston.
They used to go together to watch her
A lot of people
compete.
could feel her pain.
It was a sad call because it stemmed from, are you undateable? Like, why are you undateable? And so Jane called us, and she had a lot of emotion in her voice. And, we were saying that because Eric said, well, maybe the men that you're going on these dates with that are ghosting you sense that maybe you don't realize you're not ready to date because you only lost your husband a year ago. Y'all were married for 11 years. It was the love of your life. And you bring him up on let them know you're a widow.
Bring him up.
But just because
they run away. And that made me so sad because that just means that that's not the right guy for you.
Right.
And I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. If I was on a date with a man who tells me he lost his wife a year ago, and I can visibly see that this person is emotionally still grieving, I would say,
you're not ready.
Why are we on this date right now?
But if you felt the vibe and the connection, don't you feel like you could push through?
Well, I think that there's two angles to losing your mate. You now have a void in your life. The person that you love so much is gone, and you need to get yourself out and be social so you don't just turn into a recluse.
That's true.
Or somebody has to get you out of the house to do something. But the timing has to be right. So, I don't know. It was just a sad thing because you could tell Jane was still hurting, but then she's frustrated because she wants to get out there.
Still in China. She didn't want to come to America.
So they have a 22-year-old and an 11-year-old.
The thing is, she said that I don't want people telling me when I'm ready to date. But, I mean, it's so hard not to because I could hear in her voice that to me personally it sounded like she was not ready to be out there.
And by the way, our listeners are really good because they said, Ryan, she did say the mom told her.
The mom
Can you
did tell
play
her?
that girl's call one more time? The murdered dad
We
call?
already talked about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She said her mom told her.
Hi, my name is Kate. About a year ago, I lost my dad. He was murdered by my adopted brother. And then a year goes by. I ended up getting a call from my mother saying that my dad is not my biological dad.
Yeah.
So why would the
it was
mom do that a year later?
The mom just added insult to
So you
injury.
held that in your whole life.
And decided to tell her after she's lost
Her dad.
what was her dad. And that guy is her dad. That's her dad. Just because it's not biological.
Well, she said that already, but it hurts to know
It's a double.
biologically he's not your father and nobody ever told you.
So then when she goes
And
to
then when
meet
you-
the biological father, he wants nothing to do with her, threatens her and says, hey, don't come near my
That's
kids.
why that 23andMe is a game
Dangerous.
changer. It just changed everything with secrets.
It really is.
Even when you donate stuff, those people could track you down.
Right.
Are you into date? But the thing is with 23andMe, because I got it as a gift, so I signed up for it and I did it. You have to actually enter the 23andMe database.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can.
I'm not in it, but my sister's in it.
But the woman, my uncle had an affair with a married woman when he was 18, got her pregnant, and that girl went to school with me.
Mm-hmm.
She found out because my sister popped up on 23andMe.
So she was in the database.
Yeah.
She signed up.
If a
My
relative-
sister's in the
It'll only
database,
find
right,
people
and
that
I'm
are
not,
signed up.
But we will find connections because we have the same
And they're going to be,
same
wait, why
connection.
is Tammy Rao on this thing showing up on 23andMe? And that's weird. And then you start figuring stuff out.
It's all about the cousins. Because look, Phoenix, who worked on our show for years, was searching for his father for most of his life. His mother died of cancer when he was 14 years old. He never knew his father. She took his identity to the grave with her. And Phoenix always felt it feeling a void. He was left alone as an orphan child, basically at 14.
He lived in his
had
car?
a very rough life after his mother died. And then all he ever wanted to know is he had tried 3 times those kits, and they always failed. They either got returned or they got lost or something. Finally, he just went to Walgreens and got the Walgreens brand whatever swab kit, and that's the one that did the trick. Some girl in California who said, I have a cousin that lives in Puerto Rico, and it says that you're connecting to her and her and her. And it was a cousin connection. It wasn't even like a father to son connection. And what happens in the end, guys, after this 10-year-long search for Phoenix's dad, or was it more than 10 years? That man drives to 9801 Westheimer and gets in the elevator and comes right up to the 7th floor of KRBE, and
On the
Phoenix
weekend.
meets him outside the door of this studio for the first
He
time.
goes, I'm your dad.
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that insanity?
That's crazy.
Insanity.
Was it during the show?
He was during a weekend shift.
Weekend shift.
Because the security guard says there's a man here who says he needs to meet you or something, and Phoenix just had this feeling, and he opens the door and he turns the corner and he just looks at him in the eyes, and he's looking at himself as a 60-something-year-old man. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We should make this a Lifetime movie, a Netflix show.
Could
I
be.
know. I could get Phoenix back up here. I haven't seen
Maybe
him
we
in a
could
while.
solve another mystery here real quick. Eric, somebody called about you, and then it just cuts off.
To answer Eric's question on how do you know how
What? How you know what?
What the hell?
What? What?
That was at
Play that one more time.
8:04 a.m. yesterday.
to answer Eric's question on how do you know
What now?
Why?
Why do people
What
hang
are we
up?
talking
How do you know
about?
what? I'm
I
looking at
don't
it.
know. It's going to
We
drive
were
me
doing
nuts.
round table, and then we went to the Taylor toss-up.
That's going to drive me crazy.
We didn't know that the mom called and that listener line
Oh,
called.
no, we don't listen with both ears.
We suck.
Only one ear
Can
is
anybody
on.
figure that out? Text us
Oh, maybe it was what age did you feel like an adult? Didn't we do that at 8 o'clock?
I can't remember what we did.
Yes. No, yeah, it was about
Oh, yeah, I
turning...
did the tease. My tease was
27.
27 is when you feel like a real adult because you're paying your own bills, life insurance, or
You were
health
talking
insurance.
about that.
I'm going to assume
Maybe
that
that's
girl
it.
was calling the listener line,
And she
then
sounded young.
she's listening.
To answer Eric's
answer.
question on how do you know when
You're an adult.
how
We've all been
I
there.
think
We've all
how
done
you
that.
know when, so I'm thinking it's got to be that how you know when you're an adult.
Yeah.
You said one more word.
Yeah. She was ordering breakfast. She had to go.
I thought
I
she
have
was going to
something
call
more
back.
important to handle.
I was waiting for another call. I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to. Because sometimes people do that. They hang
do.
up. They choke. They do something.
I'm like, oh, let me try this again.
And I think they deleted it. And then it's still there. We hear it.
Right.
It
By the
lives
way,
forever.
make a mental note. Next week, we're definitely doing 23andMe stories because we got so many texts about that. I
We've
can't
done
keep
that.
them
Wow.
straight.
Or Ancestry.com
So
or
many
any of the
people.
services.
23andMe is how my husband found out he has a brother. They have the same dad, and the mom is my husband's aunt. So get that.
Say this again.
The wife's sister
Right.
and the wife's husband had a baby.
Ooh.
So was that a step out? And the mom had to know. The wife had to know her sister and her husband got hooked up, had this kid.
How do they know? She could just say, I'm pregnant.
Well, that's why we need another calls. That's why we need the calls.
That's a Tyler Perry movie right there.
It was a time.
You're right. You're not lying, Mom.
Tyler Perry.
Go to the listener line, 713-278-VENT. That is where you're going to call and leave us your half messages like that one we got for
Your
Eric.
half messages.
And then, because coming up next, the court is in session, couples court.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you are bickering over the same thing over and over again with your mate, or there's some big thing that you're like, okay, listen, we're not going to find an even ground here. We're not going to see eye to eye. Let's take it to the couples court on the Roula and Ryan show. Is this about vacation? Is it about family? Do we know what this is about?
A fiance, and she wants to be on the life insurance
Oh, that's
policy,
right.
not
And
the kids.
Not the
Oh.
kid. Oh, wow.
So from
not-
another marriage.
yeah.
Kids from another marriage
Second
versus
marriage.
the
Second
new
marriage.
fiance.
Yes.
Wow, that's not tense at all. Let's get into it next on the Roula and Ryan show. Cringe.
Roula and Ryan's Couples Court 104.1.
It is definitely Friday the 13th today. We are having all kinds of weirdness happen
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
It's a weird Friday.
Yeah.
I can. If you've listened to this show carefully, you know we're having a day, Friday the 13th.
It's weird.
I just know the diehards know something's off with us, and we're about to go off the rails.
Yeah.
It's our
Yes.
Friday 13th Roula and Ryan show. Okay, Couples Court is where you contact us at krbe.com, and you and your mate are bickering over something big, like a big topic, or it's something that y'all talk about over and over again where one person's so frustrated about the other person not changing this or that, whatever. So you bring it to us, and because there's three of us, between me and Ryan and Eric, there can't be a tie in the verdict. So that's what we call it, Couples Court. So let's welcome the couple to the court. It's Michelle.
No, it's
I'm sorry,
Michael.
Michael and Lindsay. I wrote an extra L there, sorry.
Michelle? No, Michael.
Michel. Well, that's a man's name in French and la français. Michael and Lindsay. Please welcome them to the court. Good morning, guys.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, guys.
All right. What is the problem here? Who's going to tell us about it first?
Well, I know Michael's the one that messaged us, so we'll let you take the stand first in couples court. Michael, what's the deal?
Let me say this first. Lindsay, I do love you, and I really want to get married. However, I have a 10-year-old daughter. During the conversation that we had, kind of like in preparation of where we're going in the future, I mentioned to Lindsay that I have this life insurance policy, of which I have my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, who I love as well with all my heart. She's the beneficiary of this life insurance policy. And when I mentioned that, the conversation turned to Lindsay saying to me, well, if we get married, I need to be the beneficiary of that life insurance policy, not your daughter.
Well, doesn't that automatically happen? When you lose your spouse, doesn't the other spouse automatically get whatever?
No, the way I have my life insurance set up is I leave everything to Faith. Even if I get married, I specifically have left everything to my daughter.
Yeah, you can tell people
where you want it to go.
Okay.
So, Lindsay, you want that money.
Well, it's not just the money, you guys.
That's the debate here. You think it's wrong that Lindsay has asked you, Michael, to name her as the beneficiary to your life insurance policy in the event of your unfortunate death while you guys are married?
Absolutely. I was shocked by that, to be honest with you. And could have gone another way. It could have been, well, let's do a 50-50 split, but she was adamant about she needs to have all of it.
Yeah, can I butt in? Am I
Go
allowed
ahead.
to?
Yes, you can tell us
You
your
can
side
butt
now.
in all you want.
In my point of view, the idea is we're getting married, so I'm his wife, right? And I'm going to need to be taken care of. I'm going to be taking care of the rest of what we've built together.
Well, okay, let me throw this your way. When somebody passes away, it's not everything in your bank accounts that's going to the beneficiary. We're talking just this policy.
It's just policy.
Whatever the amount of this policy is, and usually people have the policy to help pay for their funeral or
Even if you're married, and even if you said, I want to give our money to so-and-so, you can't do that because you're married, right?
Yeah, because it's a half
just
thing.
The policies you can do that.
A policy is its
Whoever
own
put the name
beast.
on. You could, listening to us right now, you could put a policy on for producer Eric.
or really
If you wanted to.
You could do a high. Is it a high number in the policy?
It's a $500,000 policy.
All right, $500,000 that would go to your daughter in the event of your untimely death. And Lindsay, you want that.
Well, and let's be clear, like, I would most likely be the one putting his funeral arrangements together. I would most likely be the one taking care of all those things. And of course, I would give his daughter some.
But there's no guarantee in that. I'm with you, dude. If something's going to happen to me, I want to make sure my daughter or my son, they're all taken care of.
I understand that also, but what about the funeral expenses? Because
They're not $500,000, Rolla.
Oh, I'll put that in and go, okay.
100%.
Pay for the
Like, you
funeral
gotta-
expenses with this.
And
That's
then give
what
the
I'm
rest
saying,
to my
like,
kiddo.
If that's your problem.
I can see that you're worried about not having money in the event of his untimely death to bury him and stuff, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't
I
know
do.
how this fight is going. This is awkward to me. I've never even thought of this.
Being a divorced dad and a single dad for all those years, I'm leaning towards Michael right now.
When I was 18, my dad came to me because he got remarried. Or no, I was 19. He got remarried, and he had a policy that was for myself, my two sisters. It was like $300,000.
Okay.
And he said, do you guys want it? Judy, his wife, said she doesn't want me spending money on that policy anymore. So he gave us the opportunity to do it. I'd make the payments, and then we could split it.
Were the payments high?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I just had no money.
But you were like 18, 19. It's all.
My sister's.
yeah.
I was talking to my sister the other day about it. She says, "Yeah, I could have had that, but my husband's like, it's weird to
Pay for
something. Like it's almost like paying money for your dad's death. Like,
Yeah.
so they didn't
Y'all
want
let
that
it
money.
go.
So
I
we
can
let
understand that.
So we lost 3, and then he died like a year and a half later.
Oh, my
We
gosh.
could have each got $100,000, which would have been.
Well,
So
guys, I
helpful
need
for
y'all
you
to cast a
financially.
vote, though, because I think that
I'm telling you, so I would not be a good juror because of all the stuff in my past. So I'm for him.
absolutely wants his daughter to be taken
Okay, hold
care
on.
of.
I'm going to just throw this out there because obviously Eric is. Eric,
tainted
and
there.
Ryan, you're saying, oh, well, you're a divorced dad. You're about to get married. So if your wife said, I want this life insurance policy, you're in the same position.
She doesn't need it, and my daughter's still the beneficiary of my life insurance
But some people
policy,
don't
and she
need it.
wouldn't ask me for that.
I think what you need to do, Michael, is keep what you're doing, but maybe carve out a percentage of it in some kind of paperwork that would cover your funeral expenses. Because that's really the only leg you have to stand on, Lindsay. Say, well, I need to be that policy so I can pay for the funeral. All right, well, what's a funeral cost? Like $20,000?
Yeah, if you do cremation, it's even cheaper.
So I don't know, maybe to help her with her anxiety over how would she afford it if you, in fact, went before her. I don't know,
Or just
Lindsay's-
get 2 policies. Get another policy. Give her one.
Not only that, but I think Lindsay knows that, hey, guys, I'm a computer programmer. I make good money. I make 6 figures plus a year. There's plenty of money, within maybe bank accounts or to pay for a funeral, or even as we grow into our marriage, there's going to be plenty of money or assets that she will have solely.
Well, then I guess we got to go with everyone agrees with leave your daughter's name in it, and Lindsay, y'all figure something else out.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to go to your daughter.
If you're making 6 figures already, you don't need that. Like his daughter needs
You
it.
could buy something right now.
Yeah.
Go get yourself a plot right now and pay for it. So it's already paid for. I mean, sorry, Lindsay, you probably don't want to hear that, but we all vote for him to keep it the way it is.
Yeah, I guess this is more couples one side than couples court.
Oh, no. You agreed to come on, and you agreed that our verdict would be final.
Well, does it at least open your eyes, Lindsay, to different scenarios maybe you didn't think of before? I mean, it doesn't have to be this policy that goes to you.
I didn't think about what you guys suggested.
Yeah,
I think
y'all
that's
can
a good
do your own
idea.
thing as a married couple when you get married.
You got to take care of your babies.
Yep.
That's
Kids
for sure.
come first.
And you should want that. That'd make.
And I do. I love his daughter. I just want it clear, like, it's not about the money. It's about managing it. but I love him a lot and I trust him a lot, and I hope he trusts me too.
And we hope you live a long, happy life,
Yeah,
Michael.
hopefully this is all moot for 70 years.
Well, thanks for coming to our show, guys. Thanks for listening to the show. You guys take care. Good luck.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay.
Take
bye-bye.
care.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, man. On text at 37530.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
A lot of people are just saying, just get a separate policy just for the wife, just
Yeah,
to
you
cover
could.
the
That's
funeral.
what I'm saying.
If he's got
But
enough
others
money
are like,
to.
don't marry her. She just wants all your money.
I wouldn't even get a second policy. I'd just run.
I just run.
That's what some people are saying. Don't even. This is too much of a.
What's that
of a
TikTok
hassle.
saying with that song? It's like, run.
Run.
I forget what that song is, but.
Oh,
like
dun, 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 run.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
I don't know what that
Somebody
song is.
texted funeral arrangements start at 25,000.
That's not. I mean, I
We
don't
had
know.
AJ in the studio. He lost his mom to cancer. Her funeral was 22,000.
Yeah.
And
But
it
the
wasn't
weird thing
anything
is,
fancy.
if you cremate, and believe
From
me,
what he said.
60+% of people now cremate.
Yeah, but some people, it's against our religion, Ryan.
I
Right.
They
understand,
don't
but
do
if
that.
you cremate,
you have to,
like
you have to bury somebody.
I don't think my dad's death arrangements cost more
But
than
just
$5
because
grand.
that happened to you, we can't make that a blank statement.
No, I
for
know.
It was
everyone.
also
I'm just
20 some
saying.
years ago. Prices have
It's
gone
coming
up.
up on 20 years, but I mean,
Just
cremation.
cremate me and put me in like bourbon bottles, my
Yeah.
favorite kind.
Oh,
It's
my
pretty
God.
cheap.
Like little mini
Nice.
ones to give to each person.
Nice.
We need to
Oh, everybody
listen
gets
to
a little
essence of
Eric.
Eric Bourbon. We all gonna
You get to leave with little Eric and
have some
with you.
flakes. Light and some flakes of Eric.
Like
Some
Goldschlager?
Tender flakes.
I don't think
Like
anybody in my
Goldschlager.
family
I don't even
has
wanna
been
think about that.
cremated.
How
I
does
don't
this-
think that's like normal for everybody. Nobody
No.
in my family has been cremated.
I never did
And
that
No,
either.
but
Paying
I'm
for
saying
a-
Google it. If you look at the national average, like 30, 40 years ago, it was very rare for people to get cremated, but now it's very, very common because it's so much cheaper.
Is it bad for the environment?
It is bad for the environment. They say the best way is, I mean, in the future, they'll do the freeze dried, where they just freeze dry you, and then they tap and you shatter
Like I
like
tried
the
Tuesday, we had that
Terminator.
freeze-
That
Don't do
is
that to me.
awkward.
Remember the freeze,
Don't do
dried
that to
Skittles?
me.
Yeah, the freeze dried candy is delicious.
Yeah.
I don't want a
No.
freeze dried person. That's
Is this kind of like? I mean, look, there's an
I
entire.
want to be stuffed if I die in the next year.
Oh, taxidermy?
Don't-
You're
please
stuffing
can
me
y'all
and put me in
stop
that
This is
corner.
Awkward. Knock on wood.
Just
I
put me
wanna
right
be
over here. I
made
want to
into a
watch you guys
tree.
every
We
day.
walk down the Eric Memorial Corner.
No, I just want to be right there. I'm just staring right down Ryan. Staring at
Like a
me.
goofy face.
But you know,
What is it?
I'll draw
Weekends at
things on you.
Bernie's?
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's, where you're just walking
Eric,
around.
you'll know, like, for eternity, somebody's messing with your face.
Yeah, but I can't leave. I have to stay there for.
We'll pose your hands in weird places.
Well, what do we
Eric's
learn?
picking his nose forever.
People are sending red flag emojis all over the text at 37530 for Michael to run from Lindsay because she wants to be the beneficiary of his policy. Bottom line is, if you guys are going to go through with getting married, you better get another policy. That's really the
So
answer.
you brought up my wife during that couples court, my wife to be, and one of the shows she's got me watching is Milf Manor.
And what channel is this on?
TLC. So we watch all these shows on TLC, like 90 Day Fiance, all these reality shows. And Milf Manor season 2, it just wrapped up this summer, and you can binge the whole thing. It's on Max. And actually, a couple of the contestants were from Houston, Texas. We were at a fundraiser, and we ran into Connor and David.
What do you win? These are their contestants. What do you
right.
win?
You get a MILF,
Sounds like-
basically. So I don't want to tell you whether or not they won or not. It's kind of like, imagine it's Bachelor-esque. So you've got like half a dozen women. They're pretty much all in their 40s to 50s. And then a man their appropriate age comes into the manor to go ahead and try and woo them, but so does their adult son. So it's a father and son, and you got to figure out which one the girl's going to go for.
Oh.
So wait a minute.
So
You're gonna tell me
every
that Connor that's coming in here, like he made out with a girl that his dad made out with,
His uncle.
or uncle?
His
I don't
uncle.
care. Still,
Yeah.
Oh.
For him, it was his uncle.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yes.
I might watch this show. That's
He'll,
weird.
he'll explain it to you. A lot of people watch this
too close
show.
for comfort.
Okay, that's
But,
neat.
Eskimo brothers with your uncle. I
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
This is
Connor's coming in
awkward.
next.
What?
I'm telling you that you're going to
Awkward.
learn about this
Okay,
show.
I
It's
get
so
it.
fun.
Bring him in.
Well, really, I just
All
want to know what it's like behind the cameras. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what's like behind the
On
scenes.
a reality show and how
of a
much they
dating
cut out.
reality show. Or they make you get into her, like, oh, you're going to pretend like you're into her, but you're not into
We should
her.
be playing that Sabrina Carpenter taste song then. This would be very.
You'll just have to taste me when
I'm
I'm kissing you.
We'll
Gross.
have a conversation next on The Roula and Ryan Show.
Let's do it with more of the Roula and Ryan Show.
Now, usually I do Scoop here, brought to you by Taqueria Sarandas, but we have a special guest in studio. If you love reality television, you know one thing we've learned of all reality television is Houston, Texas is a hotbed for the casting agencies. There have been so many ABC Bachelor, Bachelorette franchises that have featured Houstonians or surrounding area Houstonians, and it just goes from there. There are many reality shows that will pull from casting
And it's nice
calls
to see
here.
where Houstonians on like 600-pound life.
Yeah.
It's nice
Because
to see
that's
them in,
like the only one.
Bachelor, Bachelorette, Milf Manor, like we're talking
Is
about
600
here.
Pound Life based here?
Yeah, that's
the
where they do it.
doctors
That's
in the
no-
medical center.
What
yeah.
I did not know
On
that.
Bel Air, he's got that office right over there by that buffet place there, by Stella Link.
Fadi's?
I can't think
It's a
of
Chinese
it.
buffet.
Oh, the Chinese buffet.
It says
Well,
Dr.
That's
No
where
there.
his office is.
I just because my sister and them love that show. They're like, hey, that's his office. Whatever.
That's
They took a
funny.
photo by it.
But let's welcome Connor Richardson into the studio right now. Now, the whole reason that I met Connor and his uncle, my fiance Jen, she got me hooked on all these reality shows. She loves TLC.
Oh, be honest, Ryan. You've been watching those for years. You
He
probably hooked
loves
her.
it.
I watched a
You
lot of it
hooked
with
her.
my daughter back when
Oh, right,
she was
with
living
your
at
daughter.
home.
Your daughter's asleep in the other room. You're like, yeah, we're watching 4 Weddings.
And
I know everything about 4 Weddings.
Then I switched over, and Jen and I watched like 90 Day Fiance, and we watched Milf Manor. She introduced me to Milf Manor, and sure enough, we were at a charity function. Remember when we had Carmen in here
Yeah.
for the fashion fitness show?
Yep.
That was benefiting men's mental health. And I'm standing next to my fiance, and I'm like, holy crap, I think that's Connor and his uncle David from Milf Manor. Holy crap, it is.
Ryan fangirled for you, Connor, and that's why you're here.
I did. Hey, Connor, how you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
So
Great.
It was a big fangirl moment, but I loved it. It
You're like,
was,
calm down, buddy.
it was like right after the season
Looks like a
finale,
picture.
and so everything was going wild, and it was just it was a good vibe though.
So
Yeah.
before we get into what happened on the show, your background is you were born and raised in Galveston?
Yes, born and raised in Galveston,
Nice.
lived in Houston for about 6 years, and then I just recently moved to Dallas in February.
And your line of work is in fitness and nutrition.
Yes.
Okay.
So I own a healthcare company that does mobile health, and we do fitness, nutrition, and mental health.
He's got a radio voice.
Give it a shout out. What's the company called?
It is called Atrium Health App.
Atrium
and
Health App.
We
So you
are
download the app.
mobile, so you can look it up under Atrium Athletics or Atrium Health App.
Cool. So how did you get to the casting call for this show? Was it like a broad, wide casting call for any reality show, or was it specifically
So this one you have to have like you have to have you and your dad or
Yeah,
uncle?
okay, so go ahead.
So we'll start at the beginning of the casting call, which
Yeah.
was like, so I got a DM on Instagram of, hey, we're doing a new dating show, a new dating series. So they sent me a slip, and I looked over it, and it was for a completely different show,
Oh, what
which
was it-
they
what was
normally
that
do.
show?
So it was for, what was the first one?
Some dating show also?
Northern
or?
Love.
No, oh, for like Alaska?
So it was called Northern Love in the
Northern
beginning. So
Love.
it was based in Canada.
Okay.
And
Sounds cold. How
read
funny.
over the script, and I
I
was
can't
like,
take my
all right,
shirt off there.
yeah, this is definitely not Northern Love, but we'll see where it goes. And
Yeah.
And
But who, like, they reached out to you because is it like a group of people who scour people's Instagrams across America who look good and they're into fitness and nutrition? Is that what targeted you, or how'd they target you in the DM?
I've
like,
been
how'd they find
targeted
you?
from like Love Island, Too Hot to Handle, and all those other
Well, because
shows.
it's radio, people can't see you. You're obviously a very attractive man. But
appreciate it.
But were you like in the modeling world? Were you in the
Yes.
acting world
Yeah,
here,
so
and that's how
I've-
you got out?
I've been modeling and acting for about 5 years.
Okay, so that's the
So
in.
that's
Okay,
that's
got
probably
it.
how they found me.
So you're the
But
most handsome man from Galveston.
it was.
No.
I'm not going to claim that title yet.
I bet you did well in
I got a little bit more work to go.
Okay, so you got the DM for a show called Northern Love, and at what point did it flip from Northern Love to Milf Manor?
No, so it actually flipped to damn. There was a whole nother show that they. So I literally
also
had like
romance
2
related?
contracts for
Okay.
a dating show, and I was like, all right, so this is definitely not going to be the dating show that I'm going on.
Right.
But hey, we'll see where it goes. So they called me when they called me for the phone interview. They did. Like, we did a whole interview, and they're like, okay, but this is the last thing we need. We either need you.
You can't say that word, Connor.
We were right
sorry.
in front of you. Usually when people say that on the phone, they're so comfortable because they're in their car. But you're in the studio.
Can't say bad words.
You would think it's like, oh, I gotta be buttoned
You're like,
I got muted.
oh crap.
Ventura, being
Yeah.
very
So they needed
comfortable with
you.
us. Hold on, let's reset because now that we did dump out of that, it cut off what he was saying. So Connor said he knew it wasn't going to be the first 2 reality shows. It was another reality show where the producer asked you, "Do you have a single uncle or a single dad that you could include in this show?" That's where we dropped it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We'll pick up where I messed up. So,
hilarious.
so I just so happened to have one of my clients who he owns a company. So I typically used to train CEOs for the companies and try to expand on my brand as corporate health.
Okay.
So I was at a dinner and my uncle was at the dinner as well. So we were all
Is
coming
there a big
together.
age gap between you guys? Because sometimes people
Because
have
he's
uncles.
45.
Well,
that
that's
are
the whole
like-
premise of the show. By the way, if somebody's just tuning in, Connor was one of the contestants on Milf Manor. Milf Manor, the whole concept of season 2 is you've got women in their 40s and 50s who are looking for love. They bring in a single man that's age appropriate for them, and they have their child with them too.
Younger.
So the son and the dad
your
are
Uncle's
competing.
David, right?
Yes.
And he's 41, and you were 28.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So there's
Yeah, so
an age gap.
there was only 2 duos that were uncle and nephew, and then everybody else was father son match.
That is so weird.
And they
though,
were,
isn't it weird?
They came in. They came into the
So you
show
guys come
midway
in-
through.
So let's go to the show because we don't have a whole lot of time. So you 2 are competing for the same woman?
Yeah, basically. I
And
mean,
So
how
we're-
old
you,
The
would you go on a
woman's
date
older.
with the same lady after your uncle went on a date with her?
No, we didn't go on the same dates with any of the women, but we definitely like talked about it. Like our attraction is towards typically
Different-
the same.
Oh, okay.
Typically
Type.
the same women. Like
Okay.
we typically like the same type.
I don't want to give away too much of the show. You can watch the whole thing. You can binge it on Max.
But you said the
Oh, yeah.
season 2's over now.
it is.
Season
Does
2
it
is
change
over.
You're not
the cast
spoiling
every
anything.
season?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But you're not going to be in the next season because every season it changes,
I,
right?
I definitely will not be in the next season.
Oh, man.
If they offered to do it again, like say, would you ever do this again?
Uh,
No. Was
I-
the experience fun or was it like awkward?
The experience for MILF Manor 2 was interesting.
Where was
because-
it? Where was it filmed?
So it was in Canada. So it was
Okay.
in Barrie, Canada.
And how long were you there for actually filming it?
We were there for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Shooting every day.
And how long ago from the ending of the last day of the shooting to the first day of
Premiere.
the airing, how much time had passed?
Oh, it had to have been at least 8 months.
So you probably
Okay.
forget half the stuff. You're like, I don't remember
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
there
watch
were-
the episode to say, that's not how that happened? Why'd they cut it like that?
I think I watched every episode like that.
Oh,
So
really?
it kind of ruined you then,
Cameron's
right?
like,
So
This
they
is not
cut a
what I
lot
filmed.
of stuff
Well,
out.
it was different because
I mean, Connor. Sorry,
my
Coach
my
Connor.
type is typically younger. So I'm 29 now. I just had my birthday in July.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I typically my ex is 23, and
Oh, so these
yeah.
girls were how old? 40s?
In 50s.
that's
50s. Yeah, so
that's
you-
pushing
40s and
it.
50s.
Yeah.
The
too old for
youngest
you.
one was
High-
46.
Yeah,
and the
mid-40s.
oldest was 60.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you don't want to be with a
But hey,
60-year-old?
Mama Mac on their
aware.
60s, she was probably the coolest woman on the show.
Yeah.
Really?
You should
Oh,
see
yeah,
her.
easily.
Do you keep in touch
Doesn't
with
look
anybody
it.
from that show or no?
Some
Your
of
uncle?
the guys, yeah, we talked.
Or are you estranged from your uncle now?
No,
Can't even look
that's
at
how
him
I met
anymore.
him. I mean, him and his uncle were together, so you clearly,
I'm going to have to watch this.
you know,
so
get along.
he's actually hunting right now, so he couldn't make it. He's on the way back from a hunt. Yeah. So,
One of our listeners told us to ask you about the shower scene with your uncle.
Oh, that sounds awkward.
so the shower scene
That
with
sounds really weird.
my uncle was
sounds
with
very
Rebecca,
awkward.
and I mean,
Oh, not you. Okay.
They wanted. No, it was the three of us. So it was myself, David, and Rebecca.
Okay.
And we had a little shower steam room action for.
When they tell
like-
you to do this, they say, okay, guys, you guys got to go in the steam room.
take a shower together.
No. I mean,
You
so she pulled us aside and she wanted to take us to the steam room, and we would go to the steam room every morning to.
so it's just a steam room, not an actual shower.
No, it's a shower.
Oh, okay.
So it's a shower. It's a shower.
I'm
but
thinking
then-
like a spa.
But you
There's
can-
a giant steam
gotta watch
room.
this.
Yeah, you can turn it
And you
into
can
a
sit in
steam
there.
room with a button.
Okay,
And
so that's
then
what I'm
it
saying. You're not
fogs everything
physically
up.
in your shower, and all three of y'all were in there getting it on. You're in a steam room, like in a spa that also has a shower.
Oh, yeah.
And she wanted to talk to you guys
Wait,
in there.
You guys were
Yes.
getting it on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there romance in there?
we didn't get frisky or anything in
Okay,
there. So
okay. 'Cause it's-
it was PG-13, but I mean it was a good time. We had fun.
Wow.
Was it cold in Canada,
Connor.
Half when I got off the jet
Houston
ski,
weather.
They came in on jet skis.
When I got into the water to get on the jet ski, I was like, "Oh my god, this is like 60 degrees."
Oh my lord!
I could,
so we don't see.
Yeah,
But we were in a Speedo.
Yeah, it was cold. Well, I think my swim trunks almost turned into a Speedo because I was so cold.
God. So wait, Connor, does this now open the door for you to be on all kinds of rotations for other shows? Would you be interested in doing more shows, or is that one and done for you?
100%. This is why I did the first one.
Yeah, it's fun exposure and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He'd be good on The Bachelor.
Do the
don't you think?
Bachelorette and Bachelor.
I wouldn't do the Bachelorette because I don't want to compete with other guys for one girl. But I'll
you
do
do
the
the
Bachelor, where I have many women to choose from.
Control.
You want all
the ladies.
I got the stick in that one.
Does he want to have to compete with 12 other guys, or does he want
20 guys?
There's 26 guys.
26 guys?
I'd rather choose from 26 women.
But nowadays you have to be on The Bachelorette to get on to be the Bachelor.
Now they don't even like.
It's not
like
not
that.
anymore. I think the casting producers just
change it finally?
Yeah, I think
They just should
Trying
find
to go outside
somebody.
the pool.
yeah.
Got
we'll
it.
see. But the big one that I really want is MTV's The Challenge.
I was gonna
what's that
say
one?
you give me the challenge.
The
vibe.
Challenge.
So what's that one
I
about?
want it so
Is that like
bad.
road rules
What's that one about?
type stuff?
Yeah, so it's so they basically have a pool of other reality star contestants, and they put them in a house to compete against each other with mental challenges, physical challenges, and just breaking a barrier of like trying to see of what you're capable of.
Do you get
Oh.
paid for this stuff, or is it?
Yeah. So
Do
it's
something. Like
Is it enough to like sustain you, or is it kind of like okay, well, I'm still
But
working
you
on
got
the
your
side
business, so
over
you don't have to
here.
worry about. You could. Do
yeah.
your business from-
They covered me for a month.
Okay.
Well.
All right.
I was wondering how that happens.
And
on
then do
The
you make
Bachelor.
money afterwards if this keeps repeating and repeating and
Residual.
repeating, or
No, there is no residual income from the show, but I mean, the PR that you get from it is pretty nice. So
Okay.
My
That's
daughter loves
the
that. What's it?
afterthought.
Love Island one? Is that the one that blew up this summer?
Yeah,
Which
that
one?
was huge
Love
this
Island.
summer.
Oh, yeah.
Peacock and
Love Island's been huge for. I was supposed to be on Love Island season 5, but they required the COVID vaccinations, so I didn't do that.
so yeah, you're like.
And
Now, have you? Do you have any shows that you'd be adverse to? Like, I'm not doing that one. Like, would you be on like Dating Naked or
Milf Manor 3?
Naked and
You
Afraid.
don't want to be on Milf Manor again. Yeah.
Never again.
Never again with Milf
This sounds like the
Manor.
worst one to be on.
Connor Richardson. You can look him up. What's your Instagram so people
It
can
is
find you?
Connor Richfit.
Rich Fit, because he's fit and he's
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah, that'll attract the ladies. Rich
Connor
fit.
Richardson, Connor Rich Fit. If you're just tuning in, you missed that. He has a nutrition app and a company that has to do with all that. So that's where the Rich Fit comes from, because it's Richardson.
Thanks for coming in,
Fitness.
Connor. I've been trying to tell these guys about Milf Manor forever.
I know, I
It's
gotta-
such a fun, silly show.
I'll give it a watch.
It's on Max, right?
Yeah, so it's actually on Max, HBO, Discovery Plus, and I think they're working on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon Prime, I believe, as
Yeah,
well.
I think it's on Netflix. That thing's.
Eric is your key to getting on the show you want, because he knows everybody.
Oh, well, there we
So
go.
y'all need to talk off the air. We'll give
Eric,
y'all a minute.
get me on a DILF Manor.
We'll get y'all a minute. We'll give y'all a
I'll-
minute, Connor. Thanks for coming in. Happy Friday the 13th, sir.
Yeah, enjoy
Coming up
the
next,
day.
it's time to kick off the weekend with the Friday Free for All featuring Taylor Swift. Ooh, old school. We're going Hadaway, Usher, and what's going to kick it off? The Weekend. Next on The Roula and Ryan Show.